What's up guys, Sean here. Welcome to Blades and Fades if you're new. Today's video is going to be my top 5 user knives. Now this isn't necessarily hard use knives or light duty knives. This is just my top 5 go-to, and I'm going to show you what I chose and explain why. So stay tuned. Alright guys, let's get to it. So, top 5 user knives. You guys thought they were it, didn't you? Tricked you. Alright, so up first, we'll go with one of my favorite knives of all time, the Spyderco Shaman. Now, I have 4 different Shamans. This one just happens to be my most carried, my most used, my most go-to. And the reasons for that being that I have this outfitted with Serpent's Front Customs, my card of scales, which I really love, and a Lynch Northwest clip. The main reason that I chose this one is because of the blade seal on this guy, CTs-XHP. Now this is the Cutlery Shop exclusive Shaman, and this is my first knife with XHP blade steel, and I have found that this is just an excellent all-around, EDC blade steel. I didn't have like really high expectations for it or anything, but I've noticed this strops back extremely well. I haven't had to sharpen this yet, and it is still razor sharp. Every time I, cut a couple things with it, I will hit the strop a couple passes on each side, and it will be just as good as new. That's a really good quality to have in one of your user knives, your go-tos. You want something that's gonna be easy to maintain and hold up well. And the Shaman is a knife that just feels great in your hand, fits my hand like a glove. I can do anything with it. This knife is a beast. All right, guys, up next on the list, the Spyderco Spidey Chef. This is a titanium frame lock sporting LC200N blade steel, which is, as far as I know, probably the most corrosion resistant blade steel you can get. And not just that, it is tough as nails. Now this specific one is outfitted with a nice 17 degrees per side mirror polished edge that I put on it a good while ago. And I've been able to keep this thing razor sharp by just stropping it, in between uses. So I've only had to sharpen this one time. Once I put my edge on it, it's been good to go. A couple things that I really love about this knife: it has a nice thin blade stock. It's nice and thin behind the edge. It's a very slicey blade. It's an excellent cutter. And because the LC200N has pretty good toughness as well as good edge retention, you do not have to only use this in the kitchen. But, because my pocket knives are way sharper than any of my kitchen knives, I find myself often, looking for extra tasks and stuff to cut in the kitchen because, let's be honest, I like using my knives. So the Spidey Chef is a great knife. It's way more useful and practical than I think a lot of people realize. It feels great in your hand. There's not any hot spots. It carries extremely well. It's a reasonable size, not too big, not too small, and it just works. It's not designed to be anything really like flashy or extra. It's just designed to work, excellent as it was intended to. That's a big theme with Spyderco's. They are designed you know, for performance, not necessarily for looks. But I mean, I happen to really love the look of this knife, and a lot of other people do too. And some people think it's the ugliest knife in the world. You know, that's all personal preference, but performance-wise, this knife is absolutely excellent. Next up, we have the Spyderco Gil Bradley II folder. Now this is a very high performing knife. It has CPM M4 blade steel. It is a liner lock. It has the peel ply carbon fiber scales, which I'm pretty sure it's not any real carbon fiber on this scale. It just kind of looks like carbon fiber, but that doesn't really matter. The reason that this knife is on the list is because of its performance and its functionality. This thing freaking works. Once again, it's not the best fidget toy. The liner lock down in here is a little bit sharp. So, you know, if you're just flicking this thing back to back to back, you're probably gonna, you know, get your thumb sore right there, but not really a problem. This has a really well done hollow grind, and Gil Bradley, the designer of this knife, he actually specializes in making custom knives for cutting competitions. So this is designed by a champion knife maker. Yeah. Nice hollow grind, extremely thin behind the edge. This thing is a laser. And this also has an edge that I put on it. I really don't have to even strap this one too much. This M4 holds up great, and it's hard enough and tough enough to keep this edge intact and from chipping or rolling or anything, you know, under harder uses with it being so thin behind the edge. So, you know, it all works out, and it is just a, you know, it's a proven design. A lot of people will tell you that's one of the best user knives of all times. And I can't say that I disagree with them. So, up next, number 4, we have the Spyderco Paramilitary II. Now this is actually something that you probably cannot get your hands on. This is a combination of 2 very exclusive sprint runs. One of them being the Smoky Mountain Knife Works Arctic Storm exclusive that came out, last month or so. Features fat carbon Arctic Storm carbon fiber scales that Spyderco actually manufactured. They are beautiful. I have a Lynch Northwest clip on it. And the blade that I swapped with is the K390 blade from my Bento Box Shop exclusive K390 PM2. And yeah, this is just like the ultimate user PM2. Both my other, I have 3 PM2s, and on both the other ones, I have really nice aftermarket titanium scales. But as many of you may know or may not know, titanium aftermarket scales can add a lot of extra weight to a knife, and typically I carry at least 2 knives, one in each front pocket, or one in my right front pocket and my right back pocket, you know, however I'm feeling that day. But I'm always carrying 2 knives, and I tend to like full-size knives, as you can see. And, you know, sometimes that little extra bit of weight can be really noticeable as you go throughout an entire day. So that is my reason for picking this specific PM2, and the reason I swapped the M4 blade with the K390 blade is because K390 is one of my favorite blade steels of all times. It is a extremely high performer, and I don't know if this is factual, but from my experience at least, it is a good bit more corrosion resistance than the M4 is. I haven't had to do anything special with this, and I don't have any corrosion or patina on it whatsoever yet. So yeah, I'm really happy with K390. And the PM2 is a proven design that, you know, will go in the books as one of the greatest user knives of all times. So it is no wonder that it's one of my top 5 users. And last up, number 5, we have, this is actually a newer knife to me, but I have not stopped carrying it since the day I got it. The Hinderer XM18 3.5-inch harpoon Spyderco. Guys, knives don't get much more badass than this. You have a titanium frame lock with a flipper for the main deployment. You can Spidey flick it, you can thumb flick it if you have tough fingers. The main means of deployment is this flipper tab, which the action is exceptional. It's extremely smooth on bearings, which it comes with the hardware that you have the option to put on bearings, phosphorus bronze washers, or Teflon. Besides this scale, it is basically stock. This scale right here is also from Hinderer, and this is their titanium textured warthog scale with a working finish which matches the finish of my knife. This is sporting CPM 20 CV blade steel, and is also sporting a custom edge that I put on it myself. Now this edge, in order to get this bevel looking even, I actually had to sharpen this at 3 different angles. Alright, well, I hope you guys can see that at least a little bit. Alright, so as you can see, my camera hasn't really been liking focusing today. Oh, imagine that. There we go. Anyways, this knife, when I first got it, wasn't the best cutter in the world because this is an extremely thick blade stock, thick grinds, thick behind the edge. This is definitely not designed to be a slicer. However, this knife, now that I reprofiled the factory bevel down to 20 degrees per side along the flat, 27 at the bottom of this grind line that you can see right here by the tip, kind of like a tanto would have. That's why this blade is called a spanto, because it's basically a spear with a tanto grind. It gets really thick right here. The purpose of that is strength. So this is literally like a pocket pry bar with an edge on it. That also has extremely good action, good aesthetics, good ergonomics. Just everything about this knife is excellent. That's why it has quickly become my favorite, and I cannot stop carrying it. I use it for everything that I possibly can. This is a great knife, guys. It's pretty expensive, But to me, I think it's worth every penny because I really enjoy it that much. And, you know, for the amount of money that I could get 2 nice Spydercos with, you know, I put that together and got 1 Hinderer. And then a Hinderer titanium scale, which they're also pretty pricey and rare all at the same time. So, you know, that's the perfect equation for, you know, emptying your wallet. But it's a great knife, guys. I can't even explain that enough. Excellent knife. So, honorable mentions. You know, I have a lot of knives, guys, and I'd be lying if I told you that I only have 5 favorite user knives. So, in the hopes of not making this video too long, I'm going to go through these honorable mentions relatively quickly. Number 6, Spyderco Yojimbo II. This one is the DLT exclusive in 20 CV blade steel, and this thing is a excellent cutter, excellent ergos, carries excellent, feels good, good action, checks all the boxes. Next up, number 7, the Spyderco Slew Swish Buoy. This is the Knife Joy exclusive, rocking M390 blade steel with a satin finish and blue anodized titanium handles. I'm not going to go into too many details because this is not a knife that is currently available, but the reason that this is one of my top users is because it is the perfect size. These scales, titanium scales, are actually contoured and they just feel so good in hand in combination with the Spyderco wire pocket clip, which is, you know, it's not the greatest looking clip, but functionality wise, it is perfect. This thing, I have not had to resharpen yet. I've only had to strop it, and this edge is probably one of my sharpest edges still. There's just so much good about this knife. And one of the big ones is the acoustics. I really love the way this knife sounds. When I flick it out, yeah. Really, really cool. Number 8 on the list. This is a relatively new one. This is the Zero Tolerance 0562 Ti. It is a Hinderer design, very similar to the XM18 for half the price. This is full titanium, CPM 20 CV blade steel, satin finish. It is rocking my 20 degrees per side mirror polish, well, semi-mirror edge, which is extremely sharp. You can see my previous video on sharpening tips and see a little bit more up closer and some cutting footage. This knife feels excellent. No hot spots, no sharp lines. Everything is rounded off, smooth as butter, but it doesn't feel like it's going to slip out of my hand. Excellent ergos, and this blade design, blade shape, grind, however you want to say it, is a pretty good design because it's a good balance between having the strength for hard use, but still keeping it, having good cutting performance. This also carries extremely well, comes from the factory stock with a really well done deep carry clip. And last but not least, hold on, 4. Nope, we're not at the end yet. Microtech LUDT. This is an auto, so some of you guys may not be able to carry this, but this is one that really surprised me. It's ugly as all hell, but it feels great in the hand. You're really locked in. Has well done, nice spaced out smoothed out jimping that is nice and grippy without being sharp. This is one of the few Microtechs that is actually very thin behind the edge, so this thing is a very good slicer. Very snappy. The first time I went to fire this, I didn't have a good grip on it, and it actually flew out of my hand, you know, across the room, and yeah, don't do that. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last up. You know what? I actually don't have a number 10. I do have another knife off to the side, but I do not consider it one of my top users, so I'm not gonna, you know, sit here and lie and bullshit you guys just to put it in the video and make myself seem smart, because I'm an honest guy. All the things that I've told you today are, you know, 100% my opinion, but they are backed up by, you know, countless people's testing and research, and just, you know, overall, you know, people's feelings in the community, you know, the feedback from the customers, etc. These are all proven designs that, you know, will all go down in the books, you know, as, you know, some of the greatest user knives of all times, and they are for me too. So hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. Thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing here and want to see more of this stuff, hit the subscribe, hit the like, comment down below what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next one.